Welcome to Earground. And my name is Ngqabutho Boaz Gumede, aka King Boaz. And today we're talking about dance. I hope you have your dancing shoes with you. We'll be hosting Mhako, the co-founder of Mhako International Festival of Dance. Apologies for starting probably 30 or 40 minutes later than advertised. We are sorry for any inconvenience that has been caused. Mhako will be joining me any minute from now. The song under my voice, the song that opened the show, is a song called Tembalami. It's from a guy called Kevin Makosi. It features Shuza drums, Mark Fella, the guitarist, Mandy D.
Ngqabutho Mr. Gumede.
Comrades, how you doing?
I'm good. My apologies. Should I use the headset or its sound is good?
The sound is okay. The sound is okay so far. If it changes, I will let you know.
Okay, cool. My sincere apologies. You know how things are here. Things get a bit hectic.
Yeah, no problem. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
You're being welcome to Earground for the first time. Usually welcome others.
This is the first time.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the first time I'm a guest. It's an honor.
Yeah. Now, how does it feel to be on the other side?
It feels strange. It feels weird, but it feels good as well. Yeah.
Otherwise, how are you doing?
No, I'm doing good, sir. I'm trying to find the best position where I don't have to hold there.
All right. Yeah.
No, I'm doing good, and trying to cope with Zoom, but I think it's getting there.
Yeah, you look like you're coping because your beard still look like it was when you left Europe.
Yeah, just 1 second. I don't know what's happening here. I'm seeing more comments. My orientation seems to have changed.
Okay.
1 second.
Yeah, not a problem.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I mean, we can talk. I don't know. Can you see me well?
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So for the benefit of those that don't know who Plot is about, maybe we can start there and you give us summarize what Plot is, because if I ask you to tell us everything that you do, we might be here for the for the whole day, you know. So just maybe briefly tell us about who you are.
So Plot Mhako is I'm so many things, but I like to call myself a creative social entrepreneur because I'm working in the arts, I'm working in media, I'm also working in social entrepreneurship.
Right.
So basically, that's what I do.
Yep.
I'm involved with arts, mainly youth culture, and I'm also involved in media, and I'm also involved in I think pretty much that's what I do, and I'm a graphic designer.
All right, yeah. I was going to add that because I was still waiting if you're going to add that.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
So the Plot Mhako.
Yeah. All right. For a long time, you've done many things that concerns art, but mostly you've done things to do with dancing. Is there a special reason why you had to gravitate towards dancing, not acting or any other thing? Because you Chibiliga, also the organization that you founded a couple of years back, its main thrust was dance. So why not anything else but dance?
I think it was out of the realization that dance was underlooked, or overlooked.
Yeah.
There's not been so much in terms of platforms that promote the growth and development of dance in Zimbabwe.
Yep.
So I saw an avenue, I saw an opportunity, but at the same time, I saw a lot of talent.
Yep.
There was a lot of talent from my neighborhood, and also talent that I could see from around whenever I traveled. In the rural areas, people would dance, at the growth points, and in the towns, I would attend different events, talent shows, and school events. Yep. And I would see young people were dancing, forming groups, and I started asking myself, what's next? I mean, if they're doing what they're doing, if they have this talent, what's next for them? And I had a conversation with a lot of dancers then. And most of them were like, oh, look, there are not so many platforms. We love to dance, but we don't know where to go. There are not so many competitions, no festivals. that really pushed me into starting Jibilika was what I saw on TV. There was a film, You Got Saved, just come out.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yes. So that film, I think, was part of the revolution. It really sort of kicked the spark. And I said, okay, we're going to start a hip-hop dance event, hip-hop dance festival. And that was the beginning. And everything started to evolve and transform.
Okay. Yeah. And then with Jibiliga, do you think such initiative as Jibiliga on its own, or maybe with other organizations that are like Jibiliga around, have you guys pushed dance as a discipline to a position where you guys want it to be?
I think we've done our part. We're not where we want as yet, because we're still lacking in terms of platforms for dancers, not just platforms to expose their talent, but platforms that help dancers generate revenue and have a livelihood and have a career out of dance. You know, where choreographers are trained, where dancers are trained, and when they're trained, they know that the industry is ready for them to get into different activities, be they just coaching and training dance for social, for commercial, for any other purposes, but also creating productions and being able to travel the world and perform as dancers and come back at home and host dance shows and just live off that, you know. So we're still not yet there, but I think the efforts that have been made over the past 4, 5, 10, 12 years must be commended, because now we have a community of dancers, we have a community of choreographers, and dance is a serious thing now.
All right. So what is one thing that you may pick from the 11 years of Jibiliga's existence that you can say, this is one thing that I think has been a positive thing that you've done, and if I could lose everything else from the achievements of Jibiliga, I will try to just preserve this one thing?
I think it's the passion, you know. I think Jibiliga has been passion driven for the past 12 years, because there wasn't really much money to be made. Yes, we made money sometimes, but we started Jibiliga in 2007, just a year before the economy went down. So you can imagine, sort of we soldiered on during those years, and what kept us running was not anything that we could see, you know, but it was merely a dream and a passion that was combined that kept, you know, the combustion and the energy running. So if you take away anything else, one thing that stays is still the passion.
All right. At the moment, while we're going live, there's also other live Facebook feeds that are coming through from the Minister of Finance, who's talking about the budget and stuff. What is it that the government and concerning this money and thing can do to contribute to the art sector, particularly the dance thing? At the end of the day, other countries are able to benefit from these initiatives. What approach can the government do towards art if we're going to have a livelihood from any discipline as far as art is concerned?
I think creating an enabling environment where we're able to plan, where we're able to create projects and productions and works that can thrive and survive without us necessarily relying on maybe donor funds all the time. And at the same time, where we can plan not only short term, but even long term. So the liquidity issue is really affecting, the power issue is really affecting business, because it's almost impossible to really do much under this environment, because the audience also is not really available. People start to prioritize whether they should go to a dance show and pay $20, or they should buy, you know, vegetables and eat. So if the government is able to take care of that, I think we as creatives, we can do so much to take care of our own business, but not to take them away from the equation. Issue of funding, the issue of finance, and creation of infrastructure and systems that enable arts and dance to thrive. For example, we still have one TV station, and this is a setback because it's difficult to actually create dance shows that you can put on TV where commercials are run and you're able to make money out of it. You see world over, there's Strictly Come Dancing, there's you got So You Think You Can Dance, there's so many, there's Got Talent, they've Jika Majika and SA, and there's so much that is happening outside in other countries, but in Zimbabwe we're still behind, and we're behind because we've deliberately limited ourselves in terms of our imagination, in terms of our growth, and in terms of the capacity that we can develop. So you'd find a lot of creators are now thriving outside the country, which should be from Zimbabwe outside, where we're pushing on narrative. So the minister is presenting the budget and the review, but my question is always, what happened to the other money that was put in terms of the arts? Because we don't see where it goes then. So those are some of the factors that are still there, where we're saying, look, let's have young people also be involved in terms of the creative space, the creative arts, and let's have more institutions that have managed to stand the test of time. Because some have collapsed under economics, but some have stood the test of time. So those should actually be added through provision of support, provision of grants, provision of capital, so that we're able to build venues that we can go and that we're able to reclaim the community spaces that have been taken over maybe by churches and other institutions, so that we're able to use them for recreational purposes.
All right. So you've been exposed to the international art scene with USA, South Africa, and other parts of Africa, Germany, and other parts of Europe. What have you learned that you think we can take and kind of copy and paste on our art scene in Zimbabwe to have a better platform for our artists, a better structure, a better system?
I think what I've learned is the business side of things, that art elsewhere happens as a business. A lot of the stuff that we're still doing in Zimbabwe, you'd find the approach is not really business. We're not thinking money. We're not thinking of how do we commercialize this. Not necessarily institutionalize the art, but to make it viable so that we don't live off handouts. We don't live off, we're not at the mercy of people that can just give in their dollar, and if we're doing music, we sing their names so that we can maintain what we're doing. But the industry outside of Zimbabwe functions, and in other countries, not all the countries, but mainly in Europe, you'd find there's funding and support from the town councils. There's funding and support from the government, central government. There's also support towards the development of technologies, digital technologies that enable artists. There's development of so many things, infrastructure, systems, and also the training. Universities are teaching up-to-date technologies, up-to-date systems that will operate in theaters, in venues, in business management, in accounting, in whatever. And all these facets work together, So there's division of labor, the chain of production really works. So you find there are people that are into marketing, there are people that are into distribution. So everybody is their space, and they effectively work in those spaces and add value to each other, so that when you finally see a show, that show is made up of 10 things that have been put together and 10 players that have been put together, but everybody has managed to make money from every space.
All right. I just want to go to the festival, but maybe before we get into the festival, one last thing. With the education curriculum in schools, is there anything that they can do? Because I see it, for example, in sport, you find that people go and play football because maybe they failed their O levels, but they were possibly going to be the next Messi or the next Ronaldo, but they're starting at probably 17 years to be involved in a particular sport. Is there anything that the education system can do to be able to kind of identify and nurture talent at an early stage?
I think if the education system is able to revert back to what we once had, remember we used to have the percussion in school, we used to have so many sports, we used to have the choirs, we used to have the traditional dance competitions. There was so much, there were clubs, different clubs. Those that loved Scripture Union, they would go to Scripture Union. Those that loved tennis, they would go there. And these things, yes, were done at a recreational level, but you'd find slowly we were starting to move towards involvement of some of the disciplines that are extracurricular into the curriculum. So I think in terms of what we have now, the school curriculum, I've seen some of the books that they are now putting out. There were changes, but these changes, I think they are cosmetic. They are not real changes. They need to be changes at a level where if you get into a primary school, they start to learn arts, they start to learn music, they start to learn sport, they start to learn other things, because not all the kids are talented when it comes to education. So, but for these things to happen, they cannot all be taught by teachers, because some of the teachers are also blank. They don't know how these things function. So I would say the ministry needs to actually identify institutions that are already working in these areas, that are working in tech, that are working in sport, that are working in arts, and tapping those into those institutions and provide them opportunities for them to train. This would actually be an avenue for employment. So, like for example, you're reading a grade 5 book now that has been updated, and there they make reference to, oh, we have dancers in Zimbabwe, we have dancers in the States, such as Rihanna, Shakira, Beyonce, and Chris Brown, and these are notable dancers. These are not dancers. They might dance, but not, their profession is not dance. And then they say, oh yeah, then it comes to Zimbabwe, we have Sugar, we have Beverly Sbanda, and then we have Alec Macheso. This is a grade 5 school book, and what's problematic there is that already the narrative is wrong, it's twisted, it's false, right? And those are some of the things. There's need for just a bit of research, and this information is available, very much available, because with practitioners, with dancers with Zimbabwe, there's Africara, there's Chipao, there's so many institutions that are working in the area of arts and dance. There's Music Crossroads that is also doing music, and these people are knowledgeable. They're universities that have departments, that have lecturers and professors that are knowledgeable about these things. There are scholars, there are social influencers that are actually knowledgeable about these things, and if the curriculum is able to do a bit of research, get information, and use that information factually now to train and inspire young people in schools, they would definitely learn and grow in the right direction.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Now, let's get into the Mafue International Festival of Dance. I hope I'm getting it right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. Mafue International Festival.
Yeah. First of all, what does Mafue mean, and what language is it?
Well, Mafue is Shona,
all right.
it's also spoken. Yeah, it's also spoken in different. It's Shona from the Kore dialect, as far as I know. But Mafue, the word, you break it into two. It's Ma for plural, and then Fue. Fue is derived from Kufua, Fua, which means struggle or strive.
All right.
And yes, so if you say Uchafua, it means you struggle, you strive, right? So the word refers to a dance that is performed in Zimbabwe, in Zambia, in Mozambique, right?
All right.
But in these different places, you find it as different context, right? Okay. So when we have a drought, when there are no rains coming, you'd find in the they also dance Mafue. Is one of the dances that is danced during the rainmaking ceremony, so as to bring good omen. But if you go to Mozambique, when they also do Mafue as a traditional dance, right? And when you also go back to the Kore, when the northern part of Zimbabwe, when there is funeral, and the night before the person is laid to rest, they also dance Mafue. But if you look at it, also they just call it Jit, right? So it's basically the same thing. So Mafue is representative of so many things, but ultimately our own interpretation from the festival is that it's a festival of resilience. It's a festival of inspiration. It's a festival of renewal in terms of ideas, imagination, and it's a festival that attracts good omen and good spirit, and also a festival of celebration. So it's a festival of, yeah.
All right. This is the first time that we're having this festival. It's going to be an annual festival.
Yes, it's the first time that we're doing the festival, 16th to 18th of August in Harare, at Rep Theatre, National Ballet, also in Bari.
All right, yeah. So you are the co-founder of this festival. Who are the other parties that make up the team that came up with this festival?
So this festival is a creation of Brian Geza, who's a choreographer and artistic director, and is working in Rwanda. He's Zimbabwean. He's founder of the Shamiso Arts project, but he is a former member of Tumbuka dance company. So he's a full all-round trained dancer, choreographer, and arts practitioner. Together with Cindy Yanike, who's a German dramaturg and arts practitioner and a theater director. She has worked in Zimbabwe before, and with the 2015 Mafu Kwenda Productions that ran in 2014 and 2015 and partly 2013. So she's not new into the scene. And there's also myself, who's part of the trio that created this festival. Yes.
All right. Yeah.
And so, we have a team. We're also working with Tatenda Kanengoni, who was part of the team.
All right. Yeah. So the theme is Invincible Boundaries. What does that represent? The theme on the poster.
So the theme represents limitless possibilities, to say whatever that's limiting us right now, be it socially, economically, politically. These are things that are there, man-made things that we can break down, things that are made in the head that we can actually break down in terms of making the ease, in terms of business, in terms of the social, in terms of the creative. So whatever that's limiting us right now, it's what do I call it? It's imaginary. You know, these things are there or not there. It depends in context. So wherever we want to take our country, wherever we want to take our arts, wherever we want to take our sports, we can actually go there. Whatever limits us, you'd find these are boundaries that we've created on our own heads. So be they social, be they even racial boundaries, but whatever that's limiting us to do anything, it's man-made, and we're saying, us as a festival, we're representing the limitless possibilities, limitless imagination and possibilities that we can actually make as a country and as artists.
Okay. So which countries will be participating, or probably which groups from which countries that will be making up the lineup for this festival?
So for the festival, we have several groups that are coming through. So we have a group that's coming from South Africa. It's called Moving Into Dance, Mofatong, presented and choreographed by Jessica Nupen, who's a German choreographer. So this is one of the most reputable production or dance companies in South Africa. Some might know Grigory, who was part of production before. So they're presenting a production called Rebellion in Johannesburg, which is an adaptation from Romeo and Juliet Shakespeare, but now with the urban township kind of feel. We have a production also coming from German. It's a production called Sharon, and they're performing a play. It's called Elephant in the Egg. The young audience, like young people, and then we also have production coming from Pfizer Mostrix, is from Uganda, and he's doing a solo piece. With Renegade, also from Germany, that is coming through with the production, and it's called Robo Z. And we have from Zimbabwe, Dance Trust of Zimbabwe, presenting a production, as well as Charlene Chimarash is there as well. Jerauni Movement Factory, they also have a production. Yeah. And we have a slot for urban dancers. You know, these are like non-professional dancers we have a group that dances clerks, like Dance or Clerks. It's called Bad Boys Crew that is performing there. We have Infinity, which is an all-girls outfit, right? And we have Sean S. and his group, which is called The Chosen, as well as we're going to have some surprises with Ngqabutho and Simba Arts. Simba Arts are the Zimbabwean ensemble of that is run by Norway-based, you know, Simba Fulikia, who's an arts practitioner and internationally renowned and award-winning, you know, dance director has a production here, and also have Ngqabutho, which is a traditional music ensemble that is also performing there. And we're going to have a twist of Gulewa Mkulu in Mbare when we do the workshop. Yep. So yeah, that's what we have for the festival.
Okay. Yeah. So what was the secret behind having these three venues? I see that the venues that are picked for the festival are venues that are actually far apart, and they kind of reach out to different probably audiences. Mbare and Town and Reps. Those are really three different groups of people.
Yes. So in terms of our venues and the choice of venues, we thought of demographics. You know, so in the northern part, we have Reps Theatre, we have National Ballet. It's reaching out to specific communities, mainly from the northern part. But then the Mbare venue reaches out to the southern part of Harare, southern, western, eastern part of Harare. And why Mbare is find from every corner of Harare, if not Zimbabwe, you can actually find yourself to Mbare with one single ride. So that became strategic for us, but also because of the kind of talent that is possessed within Mbare. You know, Mbare is a hotspot of talent. A lot of contemporary dancers have come from Mbare. Even traditional dancers, you'd find the Zimbabwe Traditional Dancers Association was based in Mbare, and the founders are from Mbare. And some winners from Chibuku, Rotfem, Chibuku Nishamari, they're coming from Mbare. Dancers from Tumbuka that came from Mbare. And so much, you know. So this is how strategic it was for us, that we bring it to three communities that we're able to access. But we hope that next year we might be able to also expand to other communities and possibly take the festival outside Ireland.
Oh, okay, that's fine. You kind of took away my next question, where I wanted to ask that is the festival going to be probably in Harare always, or maybe other regions of Zimbabwe? And is there a chance that maybe it may be taken even out of Zimbabwe if it's anything in your plans?
I think we'll keep it in Zimbabwe. We have not thought and discussed of plans to take it outside Zimbabwe because we want it to be an African and international festival, but happening in Zimbabwe. And in terms of growing to other towns, definitely it's on the cards. And we're going to have a group from Bulawayo that is performing at the festival. It's let me think of the name of the group. Megatronics, yes. Megatronics, so we have an outfit that's coming from Bulawayo. They're performing at the festival. So we've made our efforts within the limited budgets, within the difficult operational environment, but we're not dwelling on the negativity. We are focusing on the positives and the opportunities that are there, and hoping that also those that are coming from the other towns, they're able to attend. But next year, definitely we might expand to other towns.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else on the festival that you would want to say before I move on, probably to our last question.
I think in terms of the festival, yeah, there's a whole lot more stuff that's coming in, and people should brace up. This is not the usual dance events that we've seen. This is something international. This is something professional, and this is something well done. And you're going to really enjoy it. We have on-site performances, site-specific performances. We have performances in communities, we have workshops, we have a symposium, like a discussion on the state of dance and the future of dance in Africa. And also there is a twist on gender, the involvement of women in dance. So we have a roundtable on that on a Sunday. And and we going to make this festival as accessible as possible. So our tickets are going to be very, very lowly priced because we want to get as many people to access so that it does not become an elitist event, but everybody is able to access the festival.
Yeah, all right, yeah. So, but last words. What's in the future, in near future for Plot? What projects are you working on going forward, probably for 2019? Or if there's any special mention of a project that you think you can talk about, that would be fine also.
Well, I think for Plot, I mean, the plot thickens. There's a whole lot more that's coming. The imagination keeps coming. So from all the travels, all the interactions, even this interview, I started having ideas. And some of these ideas, you see them manifest in the next 1 or 2 years. But it will be sort of something that has been conceptualized before. So like Mafue, we thought about it like 2 years ago and we started developing it. And ultimately we decided, let's do it. So yeah, there's a new project that I will be piloting before I go big. It's still in the infancy, but it's been a year and a half working on this project. It's a tourism initiative, something slightly different from what people are accustomed to. Earground is going to grow. Now you see Earground is broadcasting directly from UK and I'm a guest. So it's there's a whole lot more stuff that is coming up. And from the Gibilica side, you see transformation. We've got workshops that are coming in. We've got a new team, new, young, vibrant team that's running the initiative. And yeah, I think there's a whole lot more that's coming up. Zimbabwe is a beautiful country, so much potential, so much hope, so much faith. I was at Yala Nation, Sekala Studio. I was at Kosha, Brands. I was at Oskid. I'm actually coming from Oskid now, and if I look at the kind of talent that's coming from some of these creative ports, it's amazing. It's brilliant talent, and I think in the next 2 to 3 years we're gonna be somewhere else.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Mhako. It was a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you so much, and my apologies for keeping you waiting. I had to set things nice and proper, but I really enjoyed the conversation, and thank you for the awesome work.
Thank you. Cheers. See you when you get
bye.
back here. Bye.
Okay, good. Cool.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, that was Plot Mhako, the co-founder of Mafue International Festival of Dance that is happening in Harare on the 6th. Is in 2 weeks' time. So this brings us probably to the end of our show for today. I will play you just one song from a guy called Tootsman and Shoot the Drums. And this song is called Viva Africa. That's the song Viva Africa from Tootsman and Shoes Drums. My name is Ngqabutho Boaz Gumede, aka King Boss. Until next time, I'm out.